Alright, so this tutorial is going to go through how to take an image in Illustrator, do a live trace, and then convert that into line work so we can take that into Rhino for laser cutting. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we have our image open obviously, we need to set up the live trace. So I'm going to go in here, and I have my image selected, object, make, it's okay. You can see it did an okay job at the start, but we can go ahead and toggle on our tracing settings here. Maybe make this a little bit tighter. Closer. And there we go. Okay, so we'll say that this is satisfactory. Looks like we still have little things that you may have to clean up, but hopefully you guys start with a better scan than I did, and actually are able to distinguish between the positive and negative more easily. Okay, once we've done that, we can go ahead and expand this. We hit the expand button. Then we select our expanded geometry and right click and group. Okay, and at that point we can start to delete some of this stuff away. Now we actually want, in this instance, all of the white masses, not the black masses, because if we have those are actually geometries that have two walls on either side, and the white areas are only going to have the cuts on the inside and the cuts on the outside. So I select my outside right here, and then hit select same fill color. That selects all the white. So I hit Control C, and then I'm just going to create a Control N to create a new document. Obviously putting a large amount of information on the clipboard here. That's okay, it doesn't matter what the spread is. Control V to paste that. And now I've got this placed in here. And you can see that we have line work on either location. Or it falls off the artboard, you can actually see through that. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and do a file save as. Let's say this is the desktop. So there's an Illustrator2Rhino. And we're actually not going to make this an Illustrator 6 file here. We want to make sure that we have to downsave this because Rhino, well, it usually does okay. We generally need to go to either the last previous version, that makes sense, Illustrator 5 or lower. So we'll pull this up. I like doing Illustrator 10 just to be sure. We should only be exporting line work in here, so there's nothing complex about the geometry. We can come in here, and then now that we're in Rhino, we just want to import that geometry. Type import. You can toggle this up, and you can select Adobe Illustrator files right there, or you can select all compatible at the bottom. Find your file, hit open. You can preserve the units. For this, it doesn't really matter. We'll go ahead and just leave that like that. And you can see I didn't have the greatest scan here to start with, but we do have essentially what we would do if we have the geometry. Now we can take this, and I'm going to go ahead and use the rectangle tool to draw a 12-inch by 12-inch guy so we get this at scale. I'm going to take this and delete this away. And it looks like we have a pretty good cutout in the interior of that. Each one of these lines represents a cut. So now I'm going to use the scaling tool. I'm just going to do sort of arbitrary scale here, just so I can get it to fit inside our guy here. Alright, and so from there, we can start to generate a planar surface. And it's asking me self-intersecting curves, and put curve boolean in this process. If you hit yes, Let's kind of think for a moment here. So I'm giving it a significant amount of data. Alright. It doesn't look like we had all that much success. I shade this. Come in here. So I'm going to try and go about this another way and take the surface here and split it with certain parts of the geometries in here. Okay, and so that's another strategy you guys are going to have to develop as you negotiate with the software here. So I'll right click to repeat that, grabbing smaller chunks. And that'll happen if you give it a command that just takes up too much memory or something like that. You're going to discover that Rhino will just pop out of the command in lieu of crashing the program or the application. And I'll edit out some of these long lengths of time. So this might take longer when you guys actually go into it. Let's go ahead and do this one at a time. You can get a sense of how it looks like that guy's a complex one. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. There's some curve overlapping here that needs to be cleaned up. You got to clean up the geometry so you don't cut this out in the wrong way. And you can see that there's little problems in here that you're going to have to take lines and use our trim tool. Once we have those drawn up, join them. Good news, two closed curves. We can select that little extra bit and delete that away. So you're going to be going through this, and then you guys will discover that we can go through and set this up. And this is going to be essentially how you guys are going to go through and do it. So we can then, if we wanted to take this to screen, we take that, and this is ready for analysis. So we just type that mesh, and we're ready to go.